Cap for November 21st, 2025, Friday night in the NBA. Lots to discuss. The Cleveland Cavaliers moved to 11-6 with a 120 to 109 win over the Pacers. Darius Garland made his surprise return. I didn't see any reporting on this prior to the game. 20 points, 7 assists for Garland, one of his better games this year. Fourth game of the year for him, if I recall. Donovan Mitchell, 32 points. Evan Mobley was at center in this one. No Jarrett Allen. So Jalen Tyson, who I believe is also back from a concussion, he got the start at the 3 with DeAndre Hunter moving up to small ball 4. Tyson, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and then Hunter had 20 points himself. Going over to Indiana, Andrew Nemhard had I believe a season high in points. There were 32. Also had 8 assists, 0 turnovers. Probably his best game of the year. Pascal Siakam had 26. He's been very consistent for them all year. Benedict Mathurin has taken a step forward this year, 21 points. And then TJ McConnell also had a solid line in this one, 10 points, 4 assists. Another 2 for 2 3-point shooting performance from TJ. That's something to keep an eye on since he's not the greatest 3-point shooter in the world. Pacers dropped to 2-14. They've obviously been racked with injuries throughout the year. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, they brought him back on a non-guaranteed deal. He had been on a 10-day contract, a couple 10 days with the team on a hardship exception. They waived Monte Morris to make room. Morris only played two games, like 7 minutes for the team. They don't need a third-string point guard now that Nemhard and TJ McConnell are both healthy again, and they desperately need power forward depth with Obi Toppin sidelined until like the beginning of February. So that's solid addition for them. And the Pacers also signed Garrison Matthews to a 10-day hardship exception. Also, he went 0 for 3 in this game in 10 minutes in his Pacer debut. But they've desperately needed shooting as Jarris Walker. I got to get around to dropping his rating. He's been really brutal offensively this season, unfortunately. Was looking like he might be taking a step forward. Had a nice preseason coming into his third season, but that hasn't translated on the court. Brooklyn Nets, they moved to 3-12 on the year, 113 to 105 over the Boston Celtics. Have won 2 out of their last 3. Look out. The Nets now have a better record than the Kings. Michael Porter Jr., 33 points, 8 rebounds, 13 of 21 from the field. First career triple-double for Nic Claxton, 18 points, 11 rebounds, and a career high 12 assists. MPJ, 20.8 player efficiency rating on the year. He's averaging 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. He has a 61 true shooting percentage on the highest usage rate of his career, 29%. A highest defensive rebound rate of his career, 25%. Assist rate, 18%. His career average is only 7.5%. And then free throw rate, 5 free throws per 36 minutes, which is twice his career average of 2.4. Also, a career high in free throw percentage for him, 84%. That had slipped to 77% last year. 45% for mid-range this year was a career low, 36% last year. His career average is 47%. So some of his production had declined a little bit last season. He has 11 and 1s in 14 games versus 18 in 77 games last year. So drawing a lot more contact than he previously has most of his career. Obviously, he's the number 1 option on this team, and he had been essentially the 3rd option for most of his career with the Nuggets playing next to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Worth noting that it's not all roses for Porter. Given that he's the number 1 option, he has less energy for other things. So like his offensive rebound rate is the lowest of his career, and his block rate as well. But overall, I've got him 87 overall, a +3 from where 2K's got him at. He is the number 10 small forward in the NBA in my estimation. And I did drop down to his physical finisher. 2K already had this on him, but this is really the first year that he's actually deserved it. So I took him from no badge to a silver. And then let's break down Nic Claxton real quick. 20.9 player efficiency rating for him, averages of 15 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.3 blocks in 30 minutes per game. Career highs in usage, 20%, assist rate, 24%, and then free throw rate, 6.5 free throw attempts per 36 minutes. Last season was only 2.9 free throw attempts per 36 minutes. So he's more than doubled his free throw rate. He's shooting 69% from the free throw line. Last season was only 51% and only 55% for his career. So it does seem like he has worked a lot on this aspect of his game. He has 12 and 1s in 16 games compared to 16 in 70 games last season. So likewise with MPJ, I gave him a silver in physical finisher. 85 overall, plus 3 also. 85 is where I have the start of like my all-star tier. So he's essentially a low-level all-star, has the same rating right now as Domantas Sabonis, probably a better player overall when you factor in the defense as well as Sabonis's struggles this season. Two-way table setter for his archetype. I like that. Hopefully, I knocked both these guys up plus 3. Hopefully not overreacting for a 3-win team, but those guys have been great. It's more or less the rest of the team that sucks. So, like Terrence Mann's been fine. Noah Clowney is like really scratching the bottom of the barrel as a starter, and Egor Demin, he's been a little better of late, averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Or no, sorry, so he had 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in this game. In 7 games as a starter, he's averaging 10 points, 4 assists, 24 minutes per game. He's shooting 44% from 3, but only 39% from 2. So not great, especially for a bigger point guard. The whole point of a bigger point guard is like a Luka Doncic, like he could, in theory, attack the rim, take advantage of smaller players, etc. The Nets are 2-5 with Demin as the starter, which beats the 0-5 that they were with Ben Saraff starting. So I think just starting an NBA level of player has definitely helped the Nets. So I've got Demin, 75 overall, plus 2, and I threw on 3 shooting badges for him, set shot, shifty, and slippery. Let's go on over to those Boston Celtics. They dropped to 8-8 on the year, but still solid production for most of their team. Jaylen Brown, 26 points. Anemias Queta, 16-12. He's been solid all year. Anthony Simons had one of his better games this year, 23 points off the bench. But Derek White, he had been shooting it a little better of late, but had 6 points on 2 of 13 from the field in this one. Going over those Toronto Raptors, they moved to 11-5 with a 30-point blowout over the Washington Wizards, 140-110. It's a season high in points for the Raptors and their biggest margin of victory of the season. 6th win in a row, 9-1 in their last 10 games. They are second in the Eastern Conference. And nobody's really a 30-point scorer on this team. Everybody always be dropping 20. They share the ball. Ingram and RJ, 24 points. Emmanuel Quickly, 17 points, 7 assists. Only 19 minutes for Jakob Poeltl, in part due to the garbage time. Sandro Mamukelashvili really took off in this one, had his best game of the year, 23 points in only 21 minutes. And then Jamal Shed, this should be kind of telling. He had 10 assists, season high, in only 16 minutes. So the second unit really took care of business against whatever the Wizards were running out there. They dropped to 1-14 on the year. No Alex Sarr or Marvin Bagley in this one. So Tristan Vukcevic had 4 points in 17 minutes as the starter. Cam Whitmore was the backup center. He had 11 points. CJ added 20. Trey Johnson had 14 points. Those are the only other Wizards in double figures. Not looking great. I guess that also means I'm not sure if Keyshawn George played in this game, but if he did not break double figures. So that would mean a subpar performance for him. But yeah, like very lacking in talent. I need to knock some of these guys down like 2 points in rating or so. Going over to the Miami Heat, I got to knock all of their players like up 2 points in rating. Conversely, they moved to 10-6 on the year with a 143-107 blowout over the Bulls. No Andrew Wiggins or Nikola Jovic in this one, so Khalil Ware got the start for Wiggins with Bam sliding down to power forward. Ware had 20 points and 14 rebounds. Against the Chicago Bulls, centers typically put up big lines. Nikola Vucevic, not exactly the world's greatest defensive player, so Ware continuing that trend. And then the absence of Jovic and Andrew Wiggins meant that Keshad Johnson played a substantial role. Probably the 14 points, 11 rebounds, 29 minutes. I'm assuming all of those are career highs for him. He barely played last year, has barely played this year. 8 Heat players in double figures. They are number 1 in pace, number 13th in offense, and then 4th in defense. So I need to get more ratings in for like the rest of like the team, really their top 10 guys. Fontecchio is a little low. I have a rating for Pele Larson. I feel like Davion Mitchell's probably in the 80s and probably underrated defensively. Jaime Jaquez, I had him at an 80 in my sheet. I think I switched his position. That probably drops him down a point, is my guess. Yeah, all right. So, but probably I can knock him up to an 80 also once I reevaluate some of his defensive ratings. Wiggins is underrated. He's been really effective for the team, and obviously as a 4, if the team is 4th in defense, clearly he's been highly effective as a defensive player. Yeah, just overall I got to get the Miami Heat up in rating, and probably eventually I'm going to redo the coach profiles and stuff for all the teams. I do have these based on last year. The Heat they changed up their offensive system. They're running a lot differently than they did last year, so they're going to be one of the first teams that we need to change their profiles for. I'm going to wait probably till like the All-Star break to put. Actually, I could probably do it before the All-Star break. Most of these things kind of settle in, like let's say a third of the way through the year. Right now, we're maybe a quarter, so maybe around like Christmas time, I'll knock that out. And then let's go on over to the Chicago Bulls. 8-7, they dropped to. No Kobe White in this one, still without Trey Jones. Ayo Dosunmu has been awesome this year. Got his first start of the year, had 23 points. This year he has a 70 true shooting percentage, 21 usage rate. He's shooting 57% from the field, 49% from 3, 87% from the line. So a lot of his ratings should go up. He should have already been like an 80 overall, based on like what he did last year. So I do need to get his rating in. I did add a couple ratings for the Bulls, but did not get to Dosunmu yet. For what it's worth, Kobe White has been really good in his 2 games that he has played so far off the bench. I would not be against Dosunmu taking over as the starter, and then Kobe White being like a 6th man essentially, but really operating as like the backup point guard. We'll see. Trey Jones, his absence is kind of factored into the rotations a little bit, but I think it makes sense to just like have another defense energy guy in Dosunmu next to a guy like Josh Giddey, especially if Dosunmu is going to be shooting lights out from everywhere on the court. Giddey, for his part, had almost a triple-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in this one. Going over to those Dallas Mavericks, they got their 5th win of the year, 5-12 on the year, with 118-115 over the Pelicans. Cooper Flagg had his best game of his career, 29 points, career high, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 12-19 from the field. He is the youngest player in NBA history with a 25-5-5 game. PJ Washington, 24 points, was 5 of 8 from 3, so he had been struggling a little bit of late. Gets himself back on track. Zito for Max Christie, he had 23 points, 5 of 9 from 3. Playing the Pelicans will do that, of course. Daniel Gafford was back in the starting lineup, 8 points in 27 minutes. Him and Lively have kind of been alternating so far. Lively off the bench in this one, 4 points, 5 fouls, 18 minutes. Brandon Williams, 5 points, 1 of 12 from the field, and had 12 assists, but 6 turnovers. So he has been extremely up and down as the starter. No D'Angelo Russell in this one. So we had Jaden Hardy as the backup point guard, 11 points, but once again, 0 assists in 14 minutes. And then worth noting, this was reported a couple days ago, but Dante Exum is going to miss the entire season with his knee injury. So I imagine they will probably. Actually, he might have a no trade clause because he was re-signed on like a 1 year minimum. Otherwise, I was going to say that he'll probably be dealt at the deadline for like some as part of like a larger deal for some cap relief. But if he has a no trade clause, he might just end up getting waived altogether. We'll see what ends up happening there. Let's hop on over to the Pels. They dropped to 2-14 on the year, lost their 8th game in a row, but some encouraging signs. 4 Pelicans in double figures in this one. Trey Murphy led the way with 25. Zion had 22, his second game back from injury. Jeremiah Fears, 21 points, but only 2 assists once again. Not really moving the ball all that well. And did have 4 steals, though. That's kind of what he is. He's a speedy guard and is able to get into passing lanes, uses athleticism a little bit. And then Derek Queen, 20 points, 7 rebounds, a career high 11 assists for him. He's really fulfilling that Alperen Şengün draft comp that he had. And I've got him up to an 80 overall, +2 from where I had him previously at after I gave him a rating edit. It's the same rating that 2K Sports has for him at the moment. 4 games as a starter, 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 28 minutes per game. And then Zion, I did knock his rating down a couple points as well, kind of just to reflect the changing of the guard that is happening in New Orleans. Only 24% assist rate for Zion Williamson last year, which is also 24% is also what he's averaged for his career. Last year, that was up at 36%, but given the presence of guys like Jordan Poole when he was healthy earlier, Jeremiah Fears in the backcourt, and also now Derek Queen with the 11 assists in this one, it seems clear that Zion's taking a smaller role on the ball than he previously did last year. And then as a finisher, he's also declined a little bit. Obviously, he's dealt with a little bit of injury this year, but only 51% on twos so far. That's a big red flag. That is down from 58%, and that's a number that's kind of like been trickling downward throughout his career. Obviously, he came in, was a mammoth athlete when he was drafted, but now he's 25, and the injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. So, would not be surprising if that was just something that was sliding away. And then only a 13% defensive rebound rate. This was, again, something that he had worked to get up last year. Last year he had his career best defensive rebound season and shot blocking season. And though both of those are down right now, his block rate's only 1%, whereas it was 3% last year. And then last year it was an 18% defensive rebound rate, which is like a 70. Right now it's at 13%. Which is like a 59 to 60 normally. So right now I split the difference on that, but that's kind of discouraging, I would say, from Zion. I did have him in the 91 overall. Based on last year when he was healthy, he was an All NBA level of player, but now he's trickling down to All-Star-ish tier. But not that he's going to make an All-Star team because he doesn't play enough games to qualify for those kind of accolades. But he's typically as good as those players when he does take the court. It's just yeah. So Pels, it looks like Zion's probably going to be playing for another team by at least next offseason, I would say, and it'll be interesting to see how well Zion is able to fit next to Derek Queen and how he grows this season. Phoenix Suns. They've been one of the biggest surprise teams of the year. I still need to get some ratings in on them. I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. I do have Devin Booker's in, but I got to get guys like Brooks, Williams, Allen, Royce O'Neal, really their whole rotation. I just haven't not had the time to do so. They got a really big win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 114-113, to move ahead of them in the standings. Both teams are 10-6 now. The Suns, they just absolutely stole this game from the Wolves. The Suns had 27 turnovers in this game and won the game. Devin Booker, 16 points, 10 assists, 9 turnovers. Dylan Brooks added 22, and then Colin Gillespie, he added 20 points off the bench to really give the Suns that extra oomph. Minnesota Timberwolves, they dropped to 10-6. They had 17 steals in this game, so they did a really good job of hoarding, of pressuring Devin Booker. Ant had 41 points and 4 steals. DiVincenzo had 4 steals, but the offense was otherwise kind of a struggle for them. Randall had 20 as the secondary scorer behind Ant, but yeah, not. I do want to see the replay of this game because I think that Phoenix was down and eventually came back. Minnesota kind of choked it away, so I'm curious to see exactly how that happened. Going over to the Denver Nuggets. They moved to 12-3 on the year with a 112-109 win over the Houston Rockets. This was the biggest matchup of the day, and it did not disappoint. Really big win for the Nuggets, but there wasn't without casualties. Aaron Gordon left this game with 3 minutes into the game with a hamstring strain. He had already missed the previous game, dealing with, I believe he had a sore calf or something, but he left this game. Jonas Valanciunas, for what it's worth, checked in, so they went double big against Houston with Jokic at power forward matching up with Alperen Şengün. Bruce Brown, though, did start the third quarter, and that's the lineup that I would anticipate they're going to use moving forward. Would be Brown at the 2, CJ at the 3, Peyton Watson at the 4. Obviously, the Nuggets are already without Christian Brown himself, so they're down 2 starters right now, but they were able to pull out this win. The depth of this team is going to be tested. Jokic, of course, doesn't matter who he's playing with, he's going to dominate. 1 assist short of a triple-double, 34, 10, and 9, and then Jamal Murray added 26 points and 10 assists for the Denver Nuggets. Going over to the Rockets, they dropped to 10-4 on the season. Reed Shepherd had his breakout moment. 27 points for him, 9 of 13 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3 in 37 minutes. He had a huge second quarter after the Rockets only scored. They scored less than 20 in the first. I think it was in the low teens. I didn't get a chance to watch this game yet. I haven't gotten a chance to watch many games of late. These Friday nights where they play 9, 10 games, it's always really tough. But he had 20 points in the first half, and then he started the second half over Steven Adams. So yeah, this was his first run with the starters. He was pretty impressive from what I heard. I did listen to a podcast that detailed some of what he was doing on the court, but I'm not going to plagiarize everything that they said. Go subscribe to Dunked On. Amen Thompson, 22 points. Jabari Smith had 21 points, and then Şengün and Durant really struggled in this one. Şengün, there are a lot of bigs who will typically have subpar offensive games against Nikola Jokic because they're so overwhelmed by what he's doing on offense that it kind of they have to spend so much energy on defense, and then they just kind of struggle on offense. And Jokic is also big and strong. The guys that Şengün can bully, Jokic is not one of them. So he had 14 points on 6 of 14 from the field in 36 minutes. And then KD also struggled with his shot in this one. Only 13 points on 5 of 13 from the field. Probably got to get him down to, I've been saying all year Şengün's the best player on this team rather than KD. Maybe Şengün needs to be a 91, maybe KD a 90. We'll revisit throughout the year. Going over to the OKC Thunder, I don't know what there is. There's nothing to revisit with this team. They moved to 16-1, 144 to 112 over the Jazz. Just another 8-game winning streak for the Thunder. SGA 31-8. 8 Thunder players in double figures. They shot 61% from the field, 62% from 3, 36 assists to 13 turnovers. Everybody on this team should be 80 overall. Essentially, it doesn't matter who they play, they're gonna win. Going over to the Jazz, 5-10, they dropped to, which is still good for 10th in the Western Conference. They are a play-in team. They still have a better record than the Dallas Mavericks. Keontae George, 20 points, 8 assists in this one. Larry Markkinen added 19. Ace Bailey had 15. And then Kyle Filipowski made his return, had 18 points off the bench. Portland Trailblazers, they got a huge win as well. They've had a lot of exciting games. 127 to 123 over the Golden State Warriors. Blazers move up to 7-9 on the year. Denny Avdia at point guard, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 13 assists, 6 of 14 from the field, 12 of 13 from the free throw line. Sidi Sissoko got the start at the 2, 15 points, 23 minutes. Donovan Clingan had a 20-10 game, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Golden State, of course, does have a very small front line. And then Rob Williams actually got to close in this game, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks, 21 minutes. His biggest minutes really in the last 2 or 3 years. He broke his minutes restriction in this one as the Blazers were chasing the win. So maybe he takes the next game off or something, but hopefully that doesn't affect his health at all, because Rob Williams is dealt with a lot of injuries. He's really effective, but obviously his body has not been able to hold up. He's going to be a solid backup, given as long as he can stay healthy. But yeah, it was just good to see him finally get some action in some meaningful minutes against a playoff caliber team. Caleb Love bounced back from, I think he was 1 for 12 in the last game. He had 26 points in this one, 7 rebounds, 5 assists in 38 minutes. Your 6-man for the Blazers is on a 2-way contract. Yes, 9 of 20 from the field, 6 of 14 from 3. Not quite Dennis Jenkins, given all the injuries, is really the only reason he's playing. And once those guys come back, he probably won't be in the rotation, whereas Jenkins is holding on to his starting job as players all come back into the lineup. Worth noting, Jaden Ivey is going to come back tonight for the Pistons. We'll see if he's starting or coming off the bench. I anticipate he's probably going to be coming off the bench. But anyway, finishing off the Blazers, Tamani Kamara had 20 points. Jeremy Grant, 5 points on 0 for 8 from the field. He's been otherwise better though offensively this year, but that was more or less what we were accustomed to seeing from him last year. And then I was able to get Denny Avdia's rating in finally. He was probably the most outdated player that I had in the roster, so I've got him at an 88 overall, plus 4 from last year. He rates 90 at small forward, so this is a little deceptive. He is an all-star level of player. Honestly, he has been playing close to all NBA level. The Blazers just need a couple more wins, really, for him to get realistic consideration there. But Abdi has been great. Worth noting, by the way, that the Wizards traded him for 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders. And he has what is the best contract in basketball. This is ridiculously underpaid. It's a declining scale contract. Yeah. Oh my God. That's insane. 3 years from now, he's going to be, or 2 years from now, he's going to be making less than $12 million. Holy moly. They traded 2 firsts and 2 seconds, and then the matching salary was Malcolm Brogdon, who's already retired. Yeah, and one of those first was Bub Carrington, who's okay, I guess. He's actually been pretty garbage this year. So they have 1 more first coming for Avdia, and then 2 seconds. Wizards got absolutely fucking hosed in this one. Fantastic trade for the Blazers for them to get an all-star level of player for very little of import. The Golden State Warriors, they dropped to 9-9 on the year. They're a little small. I'm not so sure about the Draymond at center thing. Al Horford, for what it's worth, left this game with a hamstring injury, so they did get a little thinner in the front court, unfortunately. They're still without Jonathan Kuminga, which might help a little bit, but 38 points for Curry, 9 threes. Jimmy Butler, 20 points. Scoring other from those guys has also been a struggle They are missing Kuminga in that regard too. Pod's added 20 off the bench, but he's not really a scorer or anything. Buddy Hield has slipped a little bit, and they don't really have anybody else who can really create their own shot on this team. So, not great. They are the 8th seed right now. That's not what they expected to be. Or when they traded for Jimmy Butler last year, you were hoping that you'd be able to push for at least a 6th seed, like 4 to 6 range. I think the Golden State Warriors would be like fine with. If they can make some damage, make some noise in the playoffs in the right matchup. But as an 8th seed, like they'd be going up against OKC most likely. That's not gonna go very well. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Golden State as we get closer to the deadline. We're going to pack it in. Thanks for watching. And there's going to be a lot of interesting games tonight. We got comebacks for Brandon Miller and Jaden Ivey from injury. I believe Kawhi Leonard is going to return from injury on Sunday. It was just reported. So we'll have some big news to cover. And I'm going to try to knock out some more ratings before I head into work. The last couple days I've so typically the way my process is I work nights at a restaurant in New York City. Hustle and bustle. I love it. It's good money and it's fun. It's great. And then I go home from work. I get out at like, let's say 11 o'clock. I get home around like midnight. Some West Coast games in the NBA are still playing. I start my ride up. I'm checking out the scores and everything. And then maybe I'll get around to recording, depending on how many games, of course. If it's one of those 12-game marathons, like it's going to be a long night. So I'll record at like 2, 3 in the morning, and then upload. Actually, well, okay. Let me be honest. Actually, 3 to 4 in the morning is usually when I'll record because I, can be a little verbose and I just love writing. So. I'll spend at least an hour with my, formulating the notebook. If there are fewer games, I try to focus in a little bit on, giving like a deeper dive on certain players, etc. And then I'll go to bed at like 6 in the morning. Get up in the afternoon and then go back to work in the evening, right? So. The last couple days, for whatever reason, I just crashed after work, and now I have like a healthy, like lifestyle again, where I am sleeping like normal hours, but it kind of throws me off in like. So I woke up at like 6 a.m. today, whereas like previously, I for like the last month I had been going to bed. Basically, since the NBA season, I had been going to bed at like 6 in the morning, and now I'm waking up at 6 in the morning. So. I'm doing my recording and write-up in the AM, in the early morning before work rather than doing it all after work. So it does throw me off a little bit in, like I'm now balancing, like, getting ready for work and all my errands and stuff while also, like, I wanted to be able to sit down and just, like, I have nothing else going on at night. So it's, like, easier to just, like, sit down, focus, and, like, bang stuff out. Whereas in the daytime, if I do that, that's not great because then, I'm not going to get anything else done for the rest of the day. Because obviously certain things I can't do in the middle of the night. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know what my process is, why the videos are probably releasing a little later than they previously have been. That's just because of what I'm going through. I in general have always slept like weird hours. Who knows whether that'll next week I might be back to the 6 a.m. thing. Kind of depends on how fucked up I get on the weekend in terms of I don't get fucked up on the weekend, but if I spend 10 hours doing ratings, might throw off my sleep cycle and stuff. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video and this little detour into my eccentric little life. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.